You're tuned in to BS with Joe, the podcast where common sense still makes sense. We break down the news, the culture, and the crazy, one blunt conversation at a time. Buckle up. This is going to be good. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the lesser of two evils, which is basically my opinion of every presidential election that I've been alive for.
Yeah, some of the elections that I've been following, like, I was a huge supporter of Reagan, or I liked Reagan when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't understand a whole lot about politics and everything like that, because I wasn't able to vote until 2020...
No.
98.
Okay, yeah.
98. So we're going to go ahead and start with the 1988 election.
So that was George H.W. Bush, which is George Sr.
Yep, he beat Michael
Dukakis. And Ron Paul was the Libertarian. So that particular time, Ron Paul got 39% polling.
Yeah.
He really did a good job. And the thing is, he had his whole thing was smaller government, more control to the people, get us out of the North American Free Trade Agreement. I actually think that was 92 that the NAFTA thing was going on, but yeah, he hit a nerve with the American people with just, I think his campaigns in the two terms that he tried to win sparked the beginning of the Libertarian Party.
It did. Ron Paul, I think if he would have won that election, he would have put us on course for great things.
You mean Ross Perot?
Ron Paul. It's Ron Paul that was the Libertarian. Ross Perot was
right, yeah. Right. Yeah, Ron Paul, he switched over to Republican. I think it was just because he needed the party's power.
He needed the party's power. Because when you're with the party, you get a lot of power. They start giving you a lot of money for campaign funds and other things like that. And Ron Paul, he pulled a lot of votes away from Bush because a lot of Republicans are more of what Ron Paul was. He was a Libertarian Party, but he
that was kind of the beginning of the Libertarian Party, and I remember that because I actually really kind of dug what they were saying. They've kind of gone off the rails since then. They're not exactly what they started out to be.
Yeah, they're nothing what the Ron Paul movement was. And that was in 88. Then we go to 92, and...
that's Ross Perot.
That's Ross Perot.
Yeah.
He was saying that he implied the argument that if you implement NAFTA, they'd hear a giant sucking sound going down south.
Well, yeah, he was talking about the jobs being shipped to Mexico, and that was 92. It actually happened.
Yeah, we lost a lot of jobs. And that was the beginning of a lot of things. Like, I'm not a big fan of Bill Clinton. And,
right, yeah.
When he got in office in 92, a lot of stuff happened.
Well, like we were saying, this is about the lesser of two evils. So, George Bush Sr. was running for his second term, and all he really had was war.
Yeah.
And people were tired of it. People didn't really want to be in the war.
Right, and also he campaigned in 88 on no new taxes, and he had to raise taxes.
That's right. That was the big thing.
That was the nail in his coffin.
Yep, I remember that.
That's when Bill Clinton got all the votes.
And Bill Clinton actually stole a lot of voters from Ross Perot because he started being like, I'm the country guy. I'm the guy that's going to be, the guy. He kind of was the first one with the George Bush Jr. saying, hey, I'm the guy you could go have a beer with.
Yeah, he was completely independent. He wasn't part of the Libertarian Party.
He was a Democrat, but he was not a moderate, or he was more of a moderate Democrat.
He was very much a moderate Democrat, and he pulled a lot of the funding, or a lot of the votes that was going towards Bush. I think that...
And he pulled a lot that would have gone to Ross Perot.
Yeah. I think Ross Perot, if he wouldn't have ran, I think Bush would have won that election.
That's highly possible. Okay, so then the Commission on Presidential Debates. In 1987, the Commission of Presidential Debates was formed by Democrats and Republicans together. And the whole purpose of it was to shut the door on outsiders. In fact, when they took control in 87, one of their founders said the commission was not likely to look in favor on including any third-party candidates. And that's straight from their own planning documents. They took over what was always part of the League of Women Voters.
Yeah. And also after that, you never saw three candidates running for presidential election since then. Kennedy kind of ran this last election, but he wasn't.
Ross Perot ran again in 96.
Yeah, he did.
Ralph Nader in 2000. Ralph Nader again in 2004. 2016, we actually had 4 candidates.
Yeah.
2020, there was 4 candidates. 2024, we had 6.
6, but not a lot of the states saw all the candidates.
Because of the Commission on Reform.
On reform of the League of...
Well, they killed the League of Women Voters to take over.
Yep.
So, anyway, 1996, Clinton versus Bob Dole, and I'll never forget Dole's acceptance line. I am here to prove that I am not too old to be president. It's not inspiration, that's a punchline.
Yeah.
And voters treated it that way. They didn't turn out for Dole. They just sighed and accepted 4 more years of Clinton.
Yeah. And then in 2020...
In 2000.
Or in 2000. I don't know why I'm thinking 2020. But in 2000, George Bush versus Gore. It was literally came down to hanging chads here in Florida.
Right.
You know, and I strongly disagree with the court's decision, and I accepted it. But that's the bigger truth. That's what
Gore said.
That's what Gore said.
Right.
And
the bigger truth was Americans weren't fired up for either guy.
yeah.
Gore was wooden. Bush was riding his daddy's coattails. Ralph Nader, who was the third party, only voice outside the box, was barely mentioned by the press. Once again, voters were told, pick one of these two or your vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
So.
And then, where were we?
So the trap becomes tradition.
Yeah. The trap becomes tradition.
2004.
2004. Yeah, Bush again and John Kerry. And it seemed like there was no really good candidate. Bush was embroiled in war, and
Bush was riding the coattails of 2011. Or, I'm sorry, not 2011, 9/11.
9/11.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the hunt for Obama. Or, it's not Obama. Sorry.
The Osama.
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 The hunt for Osama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bin Laden.
That's the one. So.
Fast forward to 2008. You got Barack Obama and John Kerry.
So, yeah. Obama is one that really kind of, to be blunt, it pissed me off that he was even running.
Yep.
Not because he's black. I had no problem at all with his color whatsoever. I actually went and sat down at my computer and did the research on his voting record as a senator. And he voted present anytime that anything came up that had any real value. When abortion came up, he voted present. Gun control came up, he voted present.
Yeah, he wasn't one side or the other.
Nope. He didn't take any chances on screwing up his political career.
No, right, and that's
or representing his people.
Right. And one of the things that really irritated me about Barack Obama in 2008, that's right when we were having the housing crisis. It was falling in 2007, and Bush started doing the TARP funding to fund the banks. And that was one of the worst things Bush did. But Bush did that because he knew it was his last year, and he just wanted to keep the economy going. Barack Obama doubled down on it. And so that's where where all these banks got bailed out, and us as homeowners were screwed.
Right. And the other thing is, he was running against John McCain. I mean, way to go, Republicans. Give us nobody.
Yeah. And then in 2012, it was Barack Obama and Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is the furthest thing from a Republican, and I think that's why no one turned out for him.
Mitt Romney was already a rhino in 2012.
Yeah. No, there wasn't any Republicans I know of that liked him.
No. And he was old as dirt.
Yeah. The only
So-
thing he had going for him was his hair.
True. 2016.
Yep. 2016. That's when we had Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, Gary Johnson for the Libertarian Party, and Jill Stein for the Green Party.
Right.
Now let's talk about the parties a little bit on this. So the Green Party, that was started a lot, I think, from Al Gore. Al Gore was huge into environmental movement, and that's what the Green Party was about.
That's true.
The Libertarian Party, that's always been
Lesser government. Smaller government. Give
Yeah.
people freedom.
And Gary Johnson was the governor of New Mexico at the time, and that's where I was living. Well, I lived there till 2007.
Okay.
Then I moved away from there. And Gary Johnson was a good governor, and I think he would have been a good candidate, but Donald J. Trump got in there and upset Hillary Clinton.
Well, the thing about Trump is he scared the crap out of the Republican Party.
he was an outsider.
He was big time an outsider. And the reason I actually wrote another podcast completely about Trump being very much like Ross Perot, in the fact that if Ross Perot had the money and the clout that Donald Trump has, because Donald Trump realized that he could not win without the power of the organization.
Yeah. So that's why he became the Republican candidate. I think he would have even chose to been a Democratic candidate because
If they would have backed him.
if they would have backed him.
Yeah.
But they were wanting to back Hillary Clinton, and he did not like Hillary Clinton at all.
Nobody liked Hillary. Well,
that's one of the
there were
reasons-
people that liked Hillary Clinton, but to be honest with you, she scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, she scared the crap out of me too. And Trump felt like he had a duty to run, so he got a part of the Republican Party and ran.
Now, the problem that he had in that first time is he listened to the Republican Party. And he let them tell him what his cabinet should be, and it really kind of handcuffed him.
Well, not only that, but he
Because
had a lot of
the rhinos wanted to control him.
right. Well, and that's the thing. All parties want to control their candidate.
They want a puppet.
They want a puppet. And Trump didn't want to be controlled. You got to think about it. Trump's a CEO. He was always in control.
Right.
And Trump, he upset a lot of the Democratic Party because they were wanting a woman president so badly, despite what she was doing. Like, you look at the Benghazi incident and everything else like that, she was responsible for so much.
Hillary Clinton did not give a crap whether it was constitutional or not. She didn't care whether it was legal or not. She would just do. And I'm sorry, but that's not somebody that we want as a president.
That's a dictator.
It was not. I had no problem at all with her gender, but I had all kinds of problems with her.
Yeah, but a lot of people, a lot of the woke individuals go based off of gender or race or anything like that, and
I vote based on their record. What have I seen them do? Like I said in that other podcast, stand on your soapbox and tell me what you're about.
yeah, what do you support? What do you want to change? That's the candidates. I want to know what information they're going to provide for me, so that way I could vote on that.
Yep.
Just like what did Bush Sr. in with no new taxes, and he put taxes in.
Well, he put his foot in his mouth in that one.
Oh yeah. Well, he ruined his career.
So 2020 brought us Joe Biden, and of course he went up against Donald Trump. But my thing is, Joe Biden was already old, okay? He was the John McCain, the Mitt Romney of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
He was the guy that had been there forever and was as old as the carpet in the frickin' hallways of the White House. Mm-hmm. And had no business even running to begin with, in my opinion.
No, and also you got to look at what he actually went against what his former party was about. He opened up the border. You look at Obama. Obama didn't want an open border.
No.
But now they wanted an open border because that put more
They're trying
people
to,
in districts, so that way they could keep the districts.
They were trying to manipulate the vote,
Yeah, they were manipulating the vote. They knew that,
which started from Clinton,
right,
Hillary, not Bill.
right. But also Joe Biden, I think he was flooding the border so that way, when the vote comes,
Are they still married?
Who? Hillary and
Bill.
Yeah, they're still married.
I can't believe he stayed with her.
Yeah. You're right. Those two, I think, deserve each other.
So anyway, I'm not going to talk about whether Joe Biden or Donald Trump won that election. That's not what this podcast is about.
No.
The fact of the matter is we had, once again, the choice of the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
And that's what we got. So then 2024 started with Joe Biden,
Yep. Then got replaced with Kamala.
who was not even, she didn't even have a primary. She just was, the Democratic Party was like, all right, well, we'll throw this in there.
Yeah, Joe Biden isn't going to win, so let's put Kamala in there.
Right. They're like, oh, black woman? Yeah, we'll grab the vote, the woke vote.
Yep.
They tried.
And they tried.
Honestly, neither one of them had a chance. Joe Biden didn't have a prayer because everybody knew he was senile.
Yep.
It was obvious. No matter how much they tried to... Can you imagine if he had won again?
Yeah. Well, and then the fact that he had prostate cancer.
That too, yeah.
He wasn't going to be able to serve much of a term at full capacity.
He wasn't at full capacity to even start the next term.
No, he wasn't.
And then they give us Kamala.
Yep.
And let's just leave it at that. So Donald Trump walks in with a landslide victory because the Democrats didn't produce a candidate, basically.
Right. And you look at the rhetoric from the press. The press was saying how Kamala was going to win and tried to show all these polls and these numbers when deep down I knew those were all false.
Everybody knew it was fake.
Yeah. And they keep trying to push Trump as this racist, homophobe, and it's just not facts.
No, it's not. And we can't forget that Robert F. Kennedy ran as an independent. Mm-hmm. Junior, by the way, not senior. He's dead.
Yeah.
And then Cornel West also ran.
Yep.
Who was Cornel West?
I don't have a clue.
Okay, good.
I could not tell you anything about Cornel West, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I knew a lot about him because he was all over the internet.
I like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The only problem I have with him is it's really hard to listen to him speak.
It is hard to listen to him speak.
I like what he's about.
I liked what he's about, but he's still very much a Democrat. He's for gun control and other things. I think he's changed his tune on a lot of that since recent. Same with Tulsi Gabbard. She was going to run for president, but she didn't make the cut.
Right.
And then she wound up.
She's in the cabinet.
She's in the cabinet for Trump.
Yeah.
And I think she's a hell of a candidate.
We'll see what happens.
Or,
I honestly believe that 2028 is J.D. Vance's to lose.
It is, unless there's...
Especially after Charlie Kirk.
Oh, yeah. Well, it depends on how much they can smear him.
He's hard to smear. I mean, the guy's if there was ever a candidate that you think you could sit down and have a beer with, it's J.D. Vance.
Right. And it almost seems like this next election is good versus evil. Because a lot of the Republican candidates are hardcore Christian and they have high moral standards. Especially after Kirk's passing. I think that they looked at Kirk, because Kirk, he loved family.
Right.
When he debated, he tried to tell kids, have families early, and then work on your careers and other things. And you could do both of it if you both are committed to each other through God. And when I think that's where the left really was against Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
I think they didn't like that he was talked a lot about prayer, and you should pray, or you should, discuss this with other people on what the people he was debating's feelings were about.
Right.
He acknowledged their feelings. He didn't just dismiss them.
He never dismissed anybody. He respected every single person that he debated with.
Yep.
So how people can call him a racist or a fascist?
And they're going to do that with J.D. Vance. And J.D. Vance
Good
was
luck.
good friends with Charlie.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
They're both of them are so far from fascists. It's not even funny.
Yep.
They both completely believe in the democratic process.
Right. And you look at where J.D. Vance came from. He came from
Appalachia.
Appalachia. Yeah, he didn't have a silver spoon in his mouth.
No. Not at all.
And he's a true American.
So that's
Patriot story.
that's the definition of the lesser two evils, and,
Yeah.
and it hasn't stopped since. Obama McCain, Obama Romney, Clinton Trump. Every time voters are told, hold your nose and just settle.
Right, but the last couple of years with Trump in office, I think things have gotten better. Now, Trump hasn't been the perfect president. He's made some mistakes. Every president has.
I mean, we all knew that Donald Trump was a bull in a china shop.
And that's what I think Americans wanted.
Well, I mean, honestly, I looked at the two choices and I was like, well, that's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, that's the way it's always been until 2020 election. The 2020 election, I knew it was the lesser of two evils, but I don't want to say an evil person got into office, but he was a puppet for an evil organization.
Absolutely.
Whereas Trump isn't a puppet. He's a leader.
He's not even a puppet for the Republican Party.
No.
The Republican Party's scared of him.
Well, they have to bend to his will.
Right.
And that's what a president should have.
Absolutely.
He should have that power.
Yep, I agree.
Because we need a leader. We don't need a puppet.
But the system isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, to make sure there's only two choices on the table, and those are the ones that the two-party cartel can live with.
Yep. That's all I have.
Yeah, I think that nails it.
Yep. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment.